There's a strange pattern you've probably noticed. Two people say the exact same thing. One gets ignored, the other gets believed instantly. Same idea, same words, but completely different impact. Why? Because one spoke to the mind, and the other spoke to something deeper. Think about the last time you changed your mind about something important. Was it because of a perfect argument? Or was it because something just felt right? That feeling is where real influence begins. Welcome to Mind Hums, where ideas spark and curiosity hums. Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. At first, this sounds like common advice. But in reality, this law exposes something most people completely overlook. We assume people are logical. We assume they analyze, compare, and decide. But truth is, logic is often just a storyteller. Emotion is the decision maker. And this changes everything. Because if you're trying to influence someone using only logic, you're speaking to the wrong part of their mind. It's like knocking on the front door while the real conversation is happening in the back room. Let's go deeper. Imagine this. You present a flawless argument. Clear facts, solid reasoning, undeniable proof. And still, the other person resists. Not because your argument is weak, but because their emotions are stronger. Maybe your idea threatens their identity. Maybe it challenges their beliefs. Maybe it makes them uncomfortable. And when emotion feels threatened, logic doesn't stand a chance. This is why debates rarely change minds. This is why arguments often create distance instead of agreement. Because when people feel attacked, they stop listening. But when people feel understood, they start opening up. Let's step into history again. During the chaos of the Great Depression, fear wasn't just an emotion, it was a way of life. People didn't trust banks. They didn't trust the system. And slowly, they were losing trust in the future itself. In that moment, numbers weren't enough. Policies weren't enough. People needed something deeper. That's when Franklin D. Roosevelt chose a different path. Instead of addressing the nation like a distant leader, he spoke like someone sitting right next to you. His fireside chats weren't just speeches. They were conversations. Calm, personal, reassuring. He didn't overwhelm people with complexity. He gave them clarity. He didn't just explain the situation. He acknowledged their fear. And in doing so, he transformed uncertainty into trust. Because people weren't just listening to him, they were feeling heard by him. Let's break down what's really happening inside the human mind. When someone speaks to your emotions, your brain reacts instantly. No analysis, no delay. It's fast. It's instinctive. It's powerful. That's because emotions are tied to survival. Trust keeps us safe. Fear keeps us alert. Belonging keeps us connected. So when someone taps into these emotional layers, they're not just communicating, they're connecting at a biological level. And once that connection is formed, logic becomes supportive, not primary. That's why a story can stay with you for years, while statistics fade in minutes. A kind gesture can build loyalty, while a perfect explanation might be forgotten. Emotion creates memory. Memory builds connection. Connection builds influence. Now let's translate this into real-world application. 1. Listen beyond words. Most people listen to reply. Very few listen to understand. But here's the truth. What people say and what they feel are often different. Pay attention to tone, energy, pauses. Sometimes what's not said matters more than what is. 2. Validate before you persuade. If you jump straight into convincing, you create resistance. But if you first acknowledge how someone feels, something changes. They feel seen. They feel respected. And suddenly, they're more open to what you have to say. 3. Turn information into experience. Don't just tell people something is true. Help them feel it. Instead of saying, "This is important," create a moment where they realize it themselves. Because self-realization is far more powerful than explanation. 4. Speak to identity. People don't just protect their opinions. They protect who they believe they are. So, when you communicate, don't challenge identity directly. Align with it. If someone sees your idea as part of who they are, they embrace it. Create emotional safety. Influence doesn't grow in pressure. It grows in comfort. If someone feels judged, they shut down. If someone feels safe, they open up. And openness is where influence lives. This law is powerful, and like all power, it comes with responsibility. Because there's a thin line between influence and manipulation. Manipulation uses emotion to control. Influence uses emotion to connect. Manipulation is self-serving. Influence is relationship building. And the difference lies in one thing: intent. People can sense when something feels forced, even if they can't explain it. And once trust is broken, no amount of strategy can fully restore it. So, if you want lasting influence, don't just learn the technique. Live the sincerity. This law isn't just for leaders or speakers. It shows up everywhere. In conversations with family, in workplace discussions, in friendships, in your content. Every interaction is an opportunity to either be right or be understood. And often, those two paths lead to very different outcomes. Because being right wins moments, but being understood wins people. At the end of it all, people may question your logic. They may debate your ideas. But if you connect with their emotions, you stay with them. Not just in thought, but in memory. And that's where true influence lives. Thanks for letting your mind hum with us.